Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. So we all know that the Queen has passed and we have officially entered into a time of mourning right now. She was 96 years old. It was announced today at Buckingham Palace that the Queen has passed on, and there are tributes literally from around the world, even here in America. It's been on CNN all day here and other channels. A lot of people are recognizing this news and has been pouring in from all over the world. She has dedicated her whole life to royal duty. There's been no other person that we know in our lifetime who has served like this. We recognize that here in the States. Even the children in the schools, it was announced in certain classes in schools here, and my daughter's calling me and you know, everyone's calling me about the Queen being gone, and it's definitely something that has been big news here in the States. Glad to see that there is this reckoning of that, and knowing that the Queen was a special woman, what she stood for, what she represented. She has been that strength and stay for so long, and it is so on point and something to really look at and appreciate. We don't really have that in an up close way. The Queen of Great Britain was really our only closest model to this monarchy, this head of state, this symbolic head of a country in the Commonwealth. And we just look on this and we see that the UK they have entered into a national period of mourning. And it's going to be like this for the next 10 days. And then she's going to have her funeral. The national mourning period is going to be observed by most people in Great Britain and other Commonwealth countries. Some companies may shut down, but it's not like they have to. I don't know. I'm curious to know what happens to businesses in the UK during this time. Leave me a comment. Let me know. I have no idea what that would look like. But during this time, we know that there's not going to be any new bills given out to mark the respect of the Queen's passing. The day of the funeral is actually going to be held at Westminster Abbey, and it's going to be the actual national day of mourning. So we'll just have to wait and see about more details about the funeral. I will be going live that day for the Queen's funeral. So we know as the Queen's death has been announced, the royal family is going to be displaying a black holding page and a short statement on their website. Boris Johnson is actually going to be giving a statement, and the Ministry of Defense is actually due to arrange a gun salute that are going to be across the UK, and there's going to be this national minutes of silence to mark the passing of the Queen. And Prince Charles is going to deliver a speech, a broadcast speech, and I may go live when he delivers that as well. So there's a lot of things going to be happening within the next 10 days. And I will definitely be making a point to recognize the things that are to be coming with the passing of the Queen. It really is a sad day. Although we knew this was coming, when it finally comes, there's just something about it. It just hits home more because it's actually real. It's not a thought, a planning. It has actually happened. And what I see is that, you know, the Queen passed in such a peaceful way. I didn't know that she had bone cancer. That was something that was kept from us. I'm sure some people knew, but it was great how that was tight-lipped. People just did not know that. It wasn't announced within the media. And I liked how the media coordinated the announcement of the Queen's death. They knew before, but they were trying to wait to announce it. The news about the Queen being ill was something that broke early in the morning here for me. And so I immediately put a video out about that because it was unprecedented how they were speaking about the Queen's illness, because that's typically not something that is done when doctors give such direct information about the Queen's health. You knew it was something very serious. I thought it was serious, but I didn't think that she would actually pass today. I just thought she was close to death, but she was at a moment closer than we all knew. And that just shows you the deep respect that the media, the journalists, everyone has for the Queen and her passing, because it was all planned in unison, all together. It was just a very seamless transition once it happened, and then once it became public information. I'm just really grateful for the example that the Queen has even taught me in her duty and service. Just, you know, when I started my YouTube channel, I remember I played this video of her, this black and white video where she talked about, you know, when she first became Queen and when her father had passed, and her commitment to duty even then, and seeing that, and just how impressive that was for me to see someone commit their whole life to their country. That for me was such a foreign concept to me as an American. But to see that this woman has lived her life with such commitment to service, and in a way that was not even supposed to be. She was not even supposed to ever be Queen. We know she only became Queen because her uncle abdicated. And as a young girl to know, when your father dies, you are going to be the next in line. There was no opposition. There was no, I can't do that, why me, or all these excuses, or a period of complete rebellion against being the Queen and thinking that, you know, this is my life, I want my life to be my life, and being selfish. It was just okay. If my uncle does this, then my role will be different for the rest of my life. That is remarkable. I am so impressed, and I have learned so much just by speaking about this and watching how the Queen deals with different things and conflicts, and the call to action for all the different things she's done through her whole life. And this is why coming to England for the Jubilee was something that I did. I'm happy I did it. I'm so glad I was able to be a part of history, just to come and just observe and see, because being there was so different than just watching it on television. And the closest I got to the Queen was this picture here. That was the closest I got. Because it wasn't like I was going to go to the Jubilee and there were going to be accommodations for me. And well, I did get to stay at Lady C's, but there wasn't like this great big plan for me to go. I was just going blindly to England. I'm like, oh, the Queen's Jubilee, where I'm going, that's history. I'm going. And I'm there, and I'm like, okay, can I get some tickets to get in? I did try ahead of time. I did, but they, you know, so many people wanted them. I wasn't one of the lucky winners of that, but I was just going to go to England. I just knew I'm in a position where I'm able to just do that, and I'm going to do it. And I did it. And I'm glad I did, because the Queen, she's taught me a lot. And being in England during that time is a time of my life I will never forget. It was amazing to see. Her resolve to do her work and duty is an example for so many, even me as an American who does not have a close relation to the actual monarchy, but in my own little special way as an educator, it has taught me a lot about commitment and service to the things that you say you're going to do. And the way she did it, coming in at such a young age, and not because she was actually born directly in line to the throne. She was close enough that when her uncle abdicated, she was up. And she was like, okay, I'm going to be the Queen. And she did it. And she said it and did it in such a beautiful way. Here is a look back at her remarkable reign and life in pictures over 9 incredible decades. Princess Elizabeth was born in April of 21, her full name being Princess Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor. She was actually born in Mayfair, London. She was the first child of the Duke and the Duchess of York, who later became King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. At 10 years old, it was at 10 years old that she would then become the next apparent heir to the British throne. She was actually then crowned on June 2nd, 1953. During her coronation at Westminster Abbey, her husband was there with her, and at this time, she had already had two of her children, Prince Charles and Princess Anne. And I remember watching videos of her coronation. It was actually the first coronation to be televised in color. It was a major event at the time, and it was seen worldwide. She became the monarch at a time when Britain had retained much of its empire. It was emerging actually from different conflicts from the Second World War. We know that there was a lot of things going on at the time when she became queen. She had a 73-year marriage to Prince Philip, we know, who died last year. And in 1977, the Queen celebrated her silver jubilee, marking 25 years on the throne. And in October of 1986, we saw Queen Elizabeth. She became actually the first British monarch to visit China. And it was one of the most important tours that she had. She had never ever undertaken anything that was so important at that time. And it was seen as a very critical piece to having this diplomacy at the time. Soon after that, there were these negotiations between Beijing and the UK. The Queen, she also marked her Golden Jubilee in 2002 when she had been on the throne at that time for 50 years. She celebrated her Diamond Jubilee 10 years later. Then at that time, she was the second monarch to reach this milestone. And then on September 9th in 2015, she surpassed the reign of her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria. And that is when she actually became the longest ruling monarch. And then there was another brand new portrait of Queen Elizabeth that came out by the Royal Windsor Horse Show. That was to mark the occasion of her 96th birthday earlier this year. She had a way about her that was very unique. No one in my lifetime has ever been that example for me. She was just a very unique and remarkable woman. I am so grateful for all that I have learned by having my YouTube channel and really seeing someone live a great life of service. And she will be missed. And thanks for watching this video, you guys. This has been my little special video on Queen Elizabeth. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.